Good afternoon, viewers. You're welcome to this edition of Ask Your MP, right from Katikati. Here with me, I have Honorable Tony Ayo. He's a honorable member for Pania County. Myself, I'm Lucy Lapoti. Welcome to today's show. Today we're going to talk about livelihood, youth livelihood program, how it is, what it is, based on the Auditor General's report. Honorable, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And thank you, viewers.
Honorable, you will introduce yourself to the viewers. Tell them what other additional tasks you may be having in Parliament, apart from being a member of Parliament for Kwanya County, yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Tony Ayo, Member of Parliament representing Kwanya County, which is now also a district. I am representing Kwanya. This is my second term in Parliament. And in Parliament, I'm a board member of, most importantly also, among others, Parliamentarian Circle. And I'm the chairperson of Investment Committee of the Circle. I have been a chairperson of the Committee on East African Community Affairs for the last 6 years until recently. And I'm a member of Public Accounts Committee and also a member of Natural Resources Committee of Parliament of Uganda. I am the vice chairperson of Parliamentary Forum on Road Safety and quite a number of things. So today I am happy to interact with you over issues that relates to the Youth Livelihood Support Program, the employment of the youth, and how the youth should be engaging to improve on their incomes. Before I came to Parliament, I was youth myself. I represented the youth in the district council. And when we started the Youth Livelihood Support Program in the 9th Parliament, I think I was part of the team. So I'll be happy to interact with you today and see what is there, what has gone wrong, and what needs to be done right to be on track. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable, for the introduction. From the introduction you have made, you're the right person we are talking to right now. But if I remember very well, you are a former chairperson for East African Committee. Yes. Viewers, welcome to the show. We are discussing Youth Livelihood Project basing on the Auditor General's report that highlighted a number of things, among others, underfunding. Honorable, one of the issues raised during in the report that is given to the floor of Parliament is underfunding of Youth Livelihood Project. Now the question is, you plan for something and you underfund it. Why?
Yeah, that is true, which is not unique to Youth Livelihood Support Program alone. But most of the government programs, even when we look at NATS, you put a group of 15 to 20 youth, and then you tell them to choose an enterprise that they want to undertake. They put in their budget, they make their proposal, but at the end of the day, when money is being disbursed, you find that it has been reduced to 8 million shillings. So first of all, that's already a very big mistake and one of the challenges that are there. We had budgeted for 30 million shillings maybe to start a piggery or produce buying, but at the end of the day, when the funds are approved, the youth are given 8, 7, 6, 10. So how will the 15 youth or even 30 youth put this money into use and be able to pay it back? But since the money is always brought, the youth will take them and try to gamble here and there. And then at the end of the day, you find that from the word go, there's already a problem. The level of commitment by the young people is discouraged, but they say, okay, let's try if we can do it. But the moment you have discouraged somebody in his investment plan, then you know you have already affected that investment. And that is a big challenge. But the problem is because the money is also not so big, so many youth would want to also access the money. I think that's why now the Ministry of Gender and also the district local government would want now to reduce so that we cover many people as opposed to giving 30 million to 5 people, and others would be just observing from afar. So that is the challenge of balancing between how many people do we cover and how much should we give them. So that is a real challenge which would come now to us, that it would call for an increasing on the budget for youth livelihood so that it's a little bit meaningful. Because even when you look at NUSAF, they would give 5 people. How do you give 1 pig to 5 people? How do they manage it? So, Operation Wealth Creation.
Yeah.
5 people are running after 1 pig. So those are the challenges that are there. Female, because now they would expect them after it has started producing. Maybe now the siblings is what they would want. They would share. But those are challenges that are there. It is real. It discourages and undermines the whole project from the perspective of the young.
So who are the beneficiaries? Who are those youth that are supposed to beneficiaries? I mean, to benefit from the program.
Now, for us, because at the onset, there was a thinking, like from the president, that it should be for those ones who have completed maybe university, those ones who have completed tertiary institution. But then we said, yes, we must have all those categories. Because you may find somebody has just completed university, but he cannot run those businesses. Most of the businesses, for example, in the country are run by other people who have not even gone to university. Maybe they have stopped in even P7. Even P2, there are people who are running businesses. So say, let it be open. Go as youth, 18 to 30 years, come in a group, or write your proposal within your area. It is approved by the sub-county, then it goes to the district and submitted to the ministry. So all categories, as long as you are young people, male or female, you are supposed to come to group and benefit. This is majorly to give the youth startup capital and also employ them, and they improve on their livelihood and getting engaged into meaningful economic activity.
Honorable, among the people who are supposed to benefit from this fund are those with disabilities, those with HIV/AIDS, those who are not educated, those who finished maybe universities or any other tertiary institution. So if you look at the category of beneficiaries, you see there are many.
Yes.
Now, if we are 9 in one group, and one is educated, one is not educated, one is a person with a disability, so what is the security of the disadvantage?
No, but first of all, to me, I would think that makes it of advantage, because this youth who has managed to study, to get to the university, maybe has done a diploma course in accounting, maybe has done some bit of engineering, maybe has done something, they should be able to work together.
Yes.
With this other person with a disability, with this other person who cannot read and write, so that they all benefit at the same time. Because what will happen, this other person will do some work that the graduate will think, now for you, go and do this. While for you, the graduate, you the accountant, you will help us with the issues of book balancing, you will help us with the issues of writing our report, you will help us with the issues of accountability or reaching out in marketing our produce. So that makes, I think, the youth should not be selfish to one another, but instead they should be helping, be working together to help. Because your education should be there to help those ones who are disadvantaged. Your pride should be that because you have managed to climb higher in education in your area, you have brought these other people. I think that should be what we should use to gain satisfaction, as opposed to saying now we only want those ones with a degree, because there's also tendency, which I think I should say this to my young people, that for us with a degree, we want to sit alone there. Those ones with the lame ones, I think this is now time that we have to think outside the box, outside the box, and work for our community, taking advantage of our opportunities that we got.
Yeah, so let me be specific on in your county, in your constituency,
Yes.
Pania, how is it performing?
I would say the performance of youth livelihood support program is not very good. I have visited groups that were given money for doing produce, for trading in the goats, in the cows, those ones. But most of them actually almost collapsed. And I have been asking, actually now, there is also a very bad attitude which is coming up. They think, when they did not pay back, and there was a move now to begin recovering the money, and the government had given a deadline, and the district team from the district community development office went to recover the money.
Yeah.
Possibly, most of them now even think the youth livelihood support program is a burden. Some of them lost their land because you have to sell, so it's a loan which they discourage others. And I realize even sometimes they don't the right proposals to get this money. So it has not performed well, basically because, first of all, the enterprises that people select, you do not go to say, okay, hello, let's come and sit. Now, we start a group to do this thing, which you have never been trying it at a small scale. So you end up in real disaster. So we really think selection of enterprises, the youth must really believe in themselves that what we are going to take is what we are going to do. And then the training of the youth should be thorough and effective. And in some cases, I've seen there was some training by the Ochichi's group that was done in Kwania Enterprise,
Yes.
Enterprise Uganda. But the problem is only one-off. But we also expect that the community development office, the production department, should be able to, from time to time, backstop these people. We have accountants who should be able to backstop them on this. And even the business, you can just bring a business person, because the youth should also be proactive to get one prominent business person within the locality to say, we want you to come and talk to us about how to manage business, because those people are there. So, but also the worst problem that I realize is that this money sometimes is given with the intention that the youth do not understand. They think it's a favor. And I think I have never done that. To think that the youth should treat it like they are getting youth level support as a favor with a return of political support, I have always told them no. Because the moment you get to that level, then even you yourself, you do not want to pay back. The commitment is not going to be there. Even the people who have given you the money will not make a follow-up to ensure that there is proper monitoring, proper supervision and evaluation of your project, and then they intervene timely when things are not moving well. So this has been some of the challenges that we are now beginning to say. It is not a favor. Get your proposal right, get your enterprise right, get the money and concentrate on your business. Forget about a Euro who is a member of parliament, because after all, it is my responsibility. We came to parliament, we passed this project, we have put some money there for you. Pick your money and go and do your work. When time for voting comes, then you will take a decision, but not because of this. I think that is one of the things that they used to get away from, and I can speak this one very candidly and openly about it, because we want the project to succeed. At the end of the day, there's a bigger trickle-down effect onto the economy.
Yes, viewers are watching you all over the world, and they've started sending you questions. We have questions from Kitiwa Chiomba. I hope you can read it and respond to praise.
Now, you want to know how can the selection of beneficiaries be more transparent?
Yes.
And I think this is what the community development officers at the sub-county level who normally go and then to evaluate the proposals. First of all, do a background check of these youth who have come together, that they have a group and they want to engage in the business. Now, when you do a background check, and these are typical drunkards, who just get, they sit all through their life, they have not been attempting to do any kind of activity that generates income. Then assess them, know them, tell them their real problems, and say, for you people, you know, if you think you have just formed this group to trap this money so that at the end of the day you don't benefit, it doesn't benefit anybody, these people must be able to do this. Put away politics. Selection of beneficiaries should be free of politics, because already they are citizens with a problem of employment and poverty, and they must be helped. So those are the criteria that must be put forward, and then they must show cause that they're really going to be committed to this, then also help in ensuring that the enterprise that they are going to select is viable, because there are some enterprises that may not be viable much as they look good. So the officers on the ground must have all these options of the kind of enterprises that are doing well in the area at their fingertips, so that they can also be able to advise. And then the training and education of the youth, once they understand it, give them the money, let them go.
Yes, we have a number of questions coming up.
Yes, this is true. In my place, I can agree to that, that asking for the kickback. We discovered that in Bongomola, in Nambieso, and also in a Boje, in a place called Aladu. They even wanted to arrest the youth. First of all, the project was approved. They gave the money to a different group, not the people who had requested for it. And then also the request, because you say your money is what? 15 million shillings. But at the end of the day, they are giving you 8 million. The rest of the money is going to these ones who mobilize, help you mobilize the project, this one who said they approved it, and so on. So this is one of the things we have been fighting on and on and on. And if there is any youth who comes from a patch and Kwania, who is listening to us, can testify to what I am saying, that we have been fighting on this very seriously. We even had with the Apache Anti-Corruption Coalition tag, we had a meeting where we called the youth from OEM, from Okole, from Apache, and then we had a discussion also for them to showcase on their enterprises how it has performed, and then we chatted a way forward, and also talking about for these people asking for kickback, which is one of the most unfortunate things in the project. And they will tell you, for you, we are going to submit yours if you give us a kickback, or first give some percentage. And this is one of the things which is frustrating the youth, and it's good you have talked about it. How is the money transferred? Is it through the account? Yes, this money is supposed to go, because every group that has been formed, they are supposed to open up their accounts. Account is submitted to the district submit, because this money is sent to the groups through the district, basing on the amount of money that has been approved for a particular groups of all the groups, and it is disbursed into their bank accounts. But normally what they do, when you're not going to get the money, there's some, I think, at the signatory of something, they hold back, so you have to go with them and then give them their kickback. And that's the most unfortunate. So you may think because the money goes to the group's account, there's no way they still tighten this youth and follow them. There was a time I found they're saying bring money 100,000 for signpost. Somebody just positioned himself to be producing signposts for the youth for their projects, collected 100,000, did not pay, did not provide them with what? With a signpost and all, and that money is gone. So you find in bits at the end of the day, the money is going and is not reaching the intended purpose, and they used to say, okay, to hell, you have also eaten that, we're also running this way with this, and then affecting the whole, and yet it's supposed to be a revolving fund for other youth also to benefit from.
What step have you taken in such a situation?
I have taken everything in the text. We call, like for us, the local anti-corruption group that we have there. Once they call me, I have gone to police, I have gone to the COW, I have gone to the RDC. So, but unfortunately, there's a problem with the local government leaders. They don't take the youth livelihood support program very seriously. And even when our government says recover, they think it's a burden, which I am really trying to say, let the local leaders at the sub-county and at the district take this program seriously and help in ensuring that this corruption, this kickback are stopped, money is released properly, and once somebody is trying to mess around with the youth level support program, they should be able to help the youth. But sometimes they find no, they don't get help, and this is what we have been doing to raise the attention of the COW. This is happening, being done by so and so, And then the approach anti-corruption corruption has been able to help us, especially in the area of Oyam, Kole, and Apache, now also including our district of Kwale.
So going back to auditor's report, one of the findings that is in the report is that there's some breakups in groups, and also there's some kind of corruption within the group. Some people embezzling money, which you spoke about. Now, as Parliament, what can you do to ensure that the whole thing from process A to process Z moves in transparency?
I don't know what Parliament is going to do, because we already have the laws in place. We have the guidelines for this youth livelihood support program that we approved as Parliament. Because this one, I know I was there from the onset. When we first started, like Youth Venture Fund, we gave the money to the banks. The banks were also selling money as loans. We also gave our money to the banks to sell to the youth. I think that was a disaster, because bank is like somebody who is selling bread, and they're also telling him, you first keep your bread, you sell mine. I think there was a problem there. So we had to come back to this process. But what is most important, I would say, as young people, if we come together, that we have 8 people, 10 or 15 youth going to do this business, let's trust ourselves. I would ask that check whoever you are bringing on board in the group. Because the moment the money comes, they begin to change their characters. Huh? The greed tends to increase. Somebody would want to get more of it for himself, making fake accountability and forgetting about other people. Because now that is the attitude which I don't know. Maybe as Parliament, because we cannot legislate on the attitude of people who first of all came together, and now one of them started doing things his own way. But for these other officials, I think we are now putting a lot of pressure on the accounting officer, number 1, who is the chief administrative officer, and then accounting officer, number 2, who is the sub-county chief. And also we are asking the district leaders, because it's approved at the sub-county, once the projects are generated from villages, then the district. This is what I was calling for. They must play that, because as Parliament, we think the laws are there in place. But Parliament is not going to do it alone. And this is what the youth should know. And you're going to, somebody who is close on the ground at the district and sub-county should be able to do. Then for us, it is a matter of backstopping, calling the monitoring, supervision, and from time to listen to the problems as they happen, and they are resolved there and then, other than leaving the project, the problem to first build on. People are crying, like there's no response, then there is going to be complacency, and the whole thing breaks down. So this is what I think for now, because as far as the laws are concerned, but we're also looking at maybe we should be allowing these individual loans to be there as an alternative, which is there. For those ones who have been assessed properly, they can actually do their work, individual loans, and then they go on, while this one of groups should also be there. Because there are also people who are happy doing it through the group, and the group will be supporting and backstopping each other, but there are those ones also who should be given opportunity to do what? Individual businesses. Because like me, I'm in town. So fine, I'm going to manage a saloon. I'm going to manage a welding plant. I am going to repair radios here and televisions and so on. I have my motorcycle spares. I want to do business in motorcycle spares. Give me 15 million shillings, even 10 million shillings. Me, as a you, I sit in town. So that should also come in. But what is now important is, if this thing, first of all, had started well, and then there are many success stories, would encourage that kind of. But now you have to be battling from where to go. I know once you are battling from where to go, it makes, there are many priorities that are also now competing, and this is what is causing problems. That if this would succeed, more money would go in. And even in other places, the money is not being absorbed.
If I remember carefully, you are the first person to blow a whistle on this,
yes,
about 1.5 to 2 years ago.
Yes.
Now, maybe the viewers all over there would want to know, what is the vetting process? How do you get to be selected?
Now, the youth come up in a group. They get a facilitator, right? Somebody who facilitates them, to take them to choose the enterprise, to fill. There are those forms that you fill to actually come up with one, facilitate them to fill the proposal. So when your proposal is now seen, it is evaluated, it is reviewed, and then they say, okay, this one is what is viable. These people has met all the conditions that are required. First of all, they are young people, they have produced their national ID, they are actually the bona fide citizens of a particular village or parish or sub-county, and they stay here. They are this category of people. Yes, then their project. Once you evaluate their project, the viability, you take, say, these are now the projects that are ready for funding. Now that is submitted to the district. And you know the district executive committee sits to submit, to review this funding, to review these proposals, and then they select those ones that now they submit to the Ministry of Gender. So once the executive now sits there, they are supposed to also select these beneficiaries, select the groups, basing on the project viability by going through the checklist of what is in the form and what is required. So it is from there now that issues come up, because they don't say it, but they at the back of their mind, all those other things I was telling you, the people who submitted will make a follow-up and say, you know, there is this other group, this one is for this purpose, that the other people who supported you the other time, and you know, election is again coming. This other group is, you know, for those relatives, those friends. These other groups were rewarding those ones. Then they end up even leaving those proposals that would be so viable and come up with the other things. All those issues are there. Then they are also lucky ones who will just have their proposal because of the way it has come. They also get it. But at the end of the day, there's not a very bad mix. So selection, that's what I believe happens on ground.
You still have a number of questions to respond to from viewers.
This is the program is supposed to train the youth in entrepreneurship, but this is not done due to lack of capacity on the part of government. How can this be addressed? Yeah. Now, lack of capacity in terms of funding. There is also abdication of duty. Every district is supposed to have a district commercial officer. That sometimes is combined with a district cooperative officer, but this is basically on commercial trade-related matters. Now, these people, the challenge they have is that youth livelihood support program must also come with its own money as a project for them to get involved in what? In training the youth. You get the problem, because ordinarily there is somebody traditionally employed within the district to do that work, but he's saying, well, that is youth livelihood support program, which is not funded, which is not funding, is not part of my responsibility. So this is where the problem comes in. Otherwise, these people would squeeze some money from the youth livelihood support program in this particular sub-county. We are calling the district commercial officer or cooperative officer to come and train these people, first of all, in cooperation, because now we are saying somebody turns against the members and goes away with it, the money, or he started planning to swindle the money for his own benefits, and yet they have come together, they have cooperated. So the cooperative officer would bring that part of the cooperative in the group and cooperative, and then issues of commerce, because we are not going to talk like we don't know where we are coming from. This is our own country, Uganda, and we know the challenges that are there. But people are simply not being proactive and not doing the right thing at the right time in the right way with the limited resources that we have. And I think this is an issue that we must now bring forward on board. What are these commercial officers doing in the areas where they are? What is their budget? They must plan for something also to cover training the youth for youth livelihood support program. Otherwise, when you look for enterprise Uganda, they will teach us. You know the amount of money they would demand, but this is a person who should ride this motorcycle. There's a group there, he puts in fuel with a per day allowance of maybe 10,000 or what, and then he should be able to do this work. And I think that's why also at the local level, this project must be accepted and embraced. Not thinking, that is youth livelihood from Kampala.
What about sensitization?
Yeah, even sensitization is poor. I am always forced. When I go to the district, the last time I went, I called the officer in charge of Youth Livelihood Support Program. I told him, tell me, how much money have you received? He told me we have received about 300 plus million. How much have we absorbed so far? The absorption was only 30%. And I told him, Cow, what are you people doing? Because sensitization in the sense that sometimes the youth do not even know that the money has come. The money is there in the district, but just the message to reach them in clear terms, real time, that the money has come. For now, we are calling for proposals from the youth at the sub-county level. You have the churches there, because we're really making these things very difficult. The churches are there, you just send a note. Somebody, let all the churches make announcement on a Sunday that from the district, the money for youth livelihood has come, they should be able to write proposal. If you get it, you don't get it this time, you get it the next time. We have funerals that these messages must come from these leaders who have opportunity to talk so that they know. But you find the knowledge is not there. Then sensitization of what is required. But we have a whole network of government system up to the village, up to Paris, that sends messages and gives information. And we are not exploiting them, but we are sitting expecting that things is going to happen. Why is government having all these structures at every level? Parliament, district, sub-county, parish, and village, with the parish development committees, with the LC2. Now LC1s have also been elected and LC2s. Send them the message, because the thing is not dropping from heaven. It is going through the system, and we who are here on the ground to do this thing, period.
Yes, we have a question about delayed payment.
Yeah, that's another very serious point. And sometimes you find they are calling, hello, this thing has over delayed. When they told us it was coming, now there's this delay. That is true. But also at the same time, I want to say these days, normally Minister of Finance releases money on time. But then you find the process in the Ministry of Gender, of sorting out these groups, of doing this lay, you have not accounted, this other document is not there. The account has these issues, sometimes has ended up delaying the youth from getting the money. And sometimes they say for a district, if only one group has not met what is required, all the money for the entire district, it doesn't go. So that is the delay comes from that. Yes. So that is true. But I think there's a process of what is important, you need to alert. You alert your district, you alert the district, alert the cow, and you give some of us a call. Of course, we can move to Minister of Gender and say, what is happening in my district? There's this delay. Sometimes you could find it's a very small thing. Somebody has just put the file aside there and forgotten. Those are the issues that makes it, and it becomes a very big concern and problem to implementation and success of these projects.
Yes. Now I imagine in a situation where some group are dealing, or they choose enterprises to be on piggery, or maybe goats rearing and other things, and then at the end of the day, all these animals die.
Yes.
How do they repay?
And that is the real challenge. I don't know. I really want to think alive, but they shouldn't die all. You know, they shouldn't die all. But I think there must be a mechanism. We want to look at this, because there are questions whether they say all the pigs or all the goats died when they were actually all sold and people want to run away. So the monitoring should be there, because this is what I've seen with the presents and advice they give to the youth also. They will go and monitor. They must see that they have actually died. And once they have seen that it is dead, they record it, all the details is there, then I think they normally have option of what? Replacing them. But in this particular one, when you have chosen an enterprise, you're ready to handle it, but things has gone bad. There is swine fever across that village. Now, I think this is where the real problem that must be looked into. But when it is true that there has been swine fever there and the pigs all died, I think that appeal should be there. But you remember, this is also business. You should be very, very careful when choosing an enterprise, knowing that you take responsibility. But I think the point which you have raised is true, that some disclaimer must be put to look into that. Because also now you can't hold me. You have given me 10 million. We have bought piglets and swine fever has come, has swept, or we have been doing poultry. Then there is a coccidiasis and the whole thing has gone. I am helpless. I cannot sell my land to do this. So that must be, because since we don't have insurance on agriculture, then something must be done. Something must be done. And what must be done is that this must be put very clearly on the policy to take all the steps to confirm, yes, it is true, so that these people can be either given another one or that one is waived. There's no two ways. That's something, or we do insurance for this. We may put an option that the projects of youth livelihood support program, for those ones who are doing poultry, for those ones who are doing goat rearing and piggery and maybe dairy, yeah, dairy, in case of that, there must be some insurance for them side by side the project. Then there now people can be safe, because you can't absorb it all. That one should be something that we may need now, thinking to bring in to include as part of the youth livelihood support program, because we have been talking about agriculture insurance. But now let's start with that, because there are not many and there are specific things to be dealt with. We are not talking about sunshine. That one of farming is another one which I don't want to bring up, but this other specific enterprises that the youth will choose.
Yes, we continue. You continue as answering the viewers.
Are you suggesting that the program design be reformed to accommodate individual youth rather than groups? Both. It should be both. It should be both. There are people who can do it on their own. It should be both. I would think so. Because sometimes you find the people are crazy. You can't be in a group with them, and then you are now pushed away. Because me, I'm talking about reality, not just assumption. I have been in this thing myself. There are people you can't do business with them. They are just making life difficult. They are very difficult people. So you choose the good people you can work with, but where things are not okay, there are people who should be allowed to run the project on their own, with all the conditions, the due diligence done around it. Yeah, that's true. Because somebody now who is going to do the business alone, maybe he could be having, his parents can support him with a small something for security here and there, and then they go. But for this one, you know, the security is not there. The security is being a youth, being a citizen, and all that kind of thing.
Now, I imagine for a group to come together and they receive funds or open a bank account, it means at least some constitution. They have a constitution, there are guidelines. Now, in a situation where a crazy one, as you put here, is there and it's not doing what's supposed to be done, and then it leads to loss of fund by the group as well as the government. Now, who stands responsible, or how is that person supposed to be punished? Or
no, but this is public funds, you know. It's governed under the laws that takes care of public funds, and you don't mess up with it. And that's why many people had to run when the money was now being recovered from them. But I think the members should also be able to monitor themselves. You know, I told you I am a board member of the Parliamentarian Summit. I chair the investment committee of the SACCO as I talk now. We understand ourselves as the board who sits there. There are unique characters of people that you can be very careful when you are transacting, as you come together as a group. So that, but also, these group monies have got guidelines for us. We have policies on everything. Before you do this due diligence. Before you bank with this other bank, before you do, sometimes you do fixed savings, you have to check, find a way to check, is this bank doing well? Because that is you wake up in the morning, a bank is closed, and you have put members' savings there. You do all these things. You take decision. We don't want members to come here when there is the money is not with the bank, even if with the SACCO. When we are fixing, are we liquid enough to do this? Are we relating among ourselves as a board? Are we not clicking? Are we relating with the staff well? And all that. What about the people we serve, our members? You, if you get to the parliamentarian circle and you get me there, those are my bosses. I serve them. So these are the things that must be in every business. You are not doing it for anybody. you're actually doing it for yourself. And this is how I want to do it, because I know I'm running the business of members at that level. From that experience that I go through every day, I am alert. When you hear anything which is not clear, you call the members, what is going on? So this person you must monitor, and they must take responsibility. If somebody has taken it as an individual, members must tighten on him to recover the money. If it is not proved now, it's you who has taken this money. Oh, because of this fictitious accountability, we want it from you. Police is there, this is public money, or even the LCs are there at that level to help you to recover your money. Actually, you should be fighting for recovery, because why? There are village saving and loans association in the villages. What you call it, they are performing very well. I'm a member of two. I put my money there and sleep because there's a trust. Those women are really, and by the way, it is majorly women who are the treasurers, and then the secretary and chairpersons. They are doing very well. They are getting the loans. They are putting the savings here. So those are somebody. So why? You must know somebody is not doing well. And these are realities. Me, I'm not talking about assumed we have already policy in place, but translating it into reality is also another thing that we should be looking at, and you people should be pushing your minds towards that line of dealing with the reality, while the policy is there general. But how now do we convert it to tangible deliverables that can cause some change to be seen?
There's a viewer saying there's a proposal for moving it to State House.
The proposal to move it to State House, that one I don't know. But I don't think that would be necessary. Why? We must do these things through a system of government, but now also State House is going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah,
because who would propose that if issues have failed with IGG, you push it to State House? Almost doing the same thing. So would strengthen. So for me, I would not want to push so many things to office of the president. Like I told you, there are government structures here on the ground. Let's deal with them. If they cannot do it, remove them. If the sub-county chief cannot do this thing, you are lazy, leave this work, because you have the standing orders on how you should do your work. Otherwise, when you now say, how do we remove it from being a political capital or tool for NRM? First of all, people get into political parties. They form political parties to capture power, so that the purpose, the reason why they form that party, the policies that are there, they would want to implement it to serve the people, and people keep them in power. But that must be separated from when there is operation, because at the end of the day, you can only tell that youth, looking at the issues of unemployment, which is high, about 65% or 66 to 67%, looking into the poverty which is there, that the young people do not have capital to start up businesses, but they would want to do it. We came up with the thinking that you come in groups, we shall provide funds, then that funds will go through government structures. Once you use it well, your level would be okay, you would get some kind of income generating activity, and your life is better. Then you know that this is a government that we must keep to maintain this policy and to continue to provide, but not saying, I am the one who gave you this. I think this is how it should be. And definitely, once those things are there, the number of people who have gotten into gainful employment and all that, they will also say, yeah, we know there are challenges, but let's continue supporting this. Because if those other ones are brought on table, the manifesto, which is not going directly to do that, or you doubt that they cannot do it, but already there's somebody doing it. I think this is how NRM should be able to explain this and go about this. But that's not saying, I've given you money, now vote for me. That one will mess up everybody. This is how I look at it.
Yes. More question?
MPs have been accused of using youth livelihood support program to benefit their supporters. Is this true or not true? I'm going to say it is both true and not true, depending on who has used it and who has not used it. For me, like now, I go to the district. They present to me, because mine, I'm saying reality, if my officer, who is called Aboche Island of the new district of Pania, it would be online, or the youth are there to tell them, I say, my friend, I don't want to know who is getting it. But whoever has presented a good proposal, who is a citizen of this country, who is a citizen of this place, look into their proposal. If it is viable, give them the money, let them do the work. But they must know that there is somebody in the parliament who is a member of parliament who sits, first of all, to do the work of legislation on this, which I was part of it, to do the work of representation, to say that money is not going in my district or my constituency, or it is going, it is delaying, these things are not being done. We raise these matters, not only for your constituency, but for the whole country. Who is there sitting like, no, we sit morning to evening on the budget, say, what about on the youth livelihood, where's the problem? Who is doing oversight? Because that's my work as individual member of parliament, also as a member of PAC. But generally, when these issues of oversight is generated by various committees, it is brought in the house, in the parliament, it is discussed, and then government is asked to account or take action. That is his work. Then you know your member is working for you on youth level support program. But don't say give this one, give this one. Those are really, yeah, they're happening. These are cheap ways of doing things that has actually resulted into messing up this project, and that's one of them that I think people must stop it. We must understand the bigger purpose of being in parliament, in representation, and your role, which is given by constitution. It attaches everything. But you know, people want to go the shortcut, the cheap way that, you know, it is because of me, that's why this thing. No, me, I'm not on that approach. And I would think many people should desist, so that we allow the person who has got the money to know, yes, they are there to do that work. Now the money has come. Let's use it. Let us pay back. Let other youth also get it. But if it is a favor from you, who is a member of parliament, you expect them to even be committed to recover. It's like these are the things you give around, and that's the problem. So you're right there.
Yeah. Before you go to those questions, we have a number of questions coming in. As parliament, what can you do about this delayed release of fund by the ministry, and then the budget cut? And yet we know this is a very important program.
Yeah, I think the big question on delays, I think there are attempts to improve on the release of funds, like I talked about it earlier. But on the budget cuts, we also have a problem as parliament on this matter that I need to bring to you. You find the Ministry of Finance has released indicative planning figures for many ministries, departments, and agencies. And they go there, they put their priorities. You find in the ministry, they are very tight. These are the fuel, lubricants, repairs, petrol, news. They come with their budgets. And it is always a big fight. Like now already we are fighting for some of these things, because we are beginning now. We have been considering the budget framework paper. The committee of budget has been receiving most of them. But you find these people, the minister and his technical people, because parliament almost budget comes when it is almost towards the tail end or in the middle. Because we need to understand, but it must be examined by parliament.
Yeah.
So you change, but you change little. You change little, because me, I want to put reality to you, because some of these roles that we do also have got the way that law requires that we should do it. You are not going to turn parliament into executive to begin doing the thing at the planning level there. So this must come clear. So sometimes they don't help us, but we have always tried. When we get in the house and say, for the youth level support, money must be increased. So you squeeze them. You're all squeezing and fighting with them to what? To readjust from some of the things, you know, this corruption. People embed their activities where they think their workshops are too many. That workshop, don't touch. Don't touch that workshop. And yet the money for the youth in the ministry is not there. The travels abroad, all these kind of things. So that's where the battle line is always drawn from, the indicative planning figures of the department agency. But we always try our best. But sometimes we also now have to go on rampage to say no. You know, sometimes parliament has to jump. That's when they realize it. So bit by bit, but still the money is still low, it's small, it's not yet enough. I think this one we agree on that. But those are the issues inside, the ingredients of why. Because you may think these people are not thinking about us, these members of parliament. But it comes also to us at a certain point. We fight, but we only change it over time. that they also should realize what we are talking about from the level of executive, from finance, and that, so that we join on and agree that let's increase to this much. Much as we have all these other equally demanding priorities of government to serve our people. Yes.
You still have questions?
Feedback from target beneficiaries is sometimes dismissed as anti-government. How can the youth get their voice heard? Now, the voice of the youth, there are research papers that has been done. For example, I can tell you there was a survey, a research that was done in Igulu, that was done in Oyam, that was done in which other district? Kole, by a group of people to analyze the effectiveness of the Youth Livelihood Support Program. I read the report, and their findings and recommendations are always circulated and taken up by government, and just is to inform policy. So to say when they say youth livelihood is a failure, is anti-government, by the way, that can depend on how you put it. Because sometimes you just throw things even without providing solution. Then they say, "What are you talking about?" You see, but now here you are looking at the Auditor General that went down to audit the performance of Youth Livelihood Support Program.
Yes.
They have made a report with the recommendations. It has come to Parliament. We are now discussing it and telling government this thing is not correct. So depending on you can say the same thing, but people will perceive it differently. So like when you now say, okay, this is our campaign thing, this government must go. It is useless, the youth campaign, the youth livelihood support. So that's when now you will get it. But when you say your people, they are yours, and what government, look, this is a well-intended program that has come. We have tried. These are the challenges. We want it changed like this. And forums, because there are always forums to discuss these things, where the ministry calls the youth, the minister for the youth is there, the National Youth Council is there, the District Youth Council is there, the Sub-County Youth Council is there. They sit and generate their issues. By the way, I was in these things. I came to politics because I participated in the youth politics in 1997, 98. So it only depends on how you are put it, and whoever is receiving it and treating it. But sometimes not all these criticisms have been rejected. So the voice of the youth on this is coming. The Auditor General is there. There are research papers that are there. There are also analysis by donors. The funders are also saying, government, look, we are supporting you on the youth level support program and other things. The question of youth unemployment is not coming forth. Even this intervention that government has put is falling short of the following. So I think the voice is coming, but all of us need to check on from our positions where we are, if we are doing the right thing. But continue talking. Once you talk, we pick it.
You have 3 questions to answer as,
yes.
you wind up our today's issue. Iguma says, what is Parliament going to do about claims of misappropriation of the money at the ministry?
Yeah, I think at the ministry there are also issues, just like at the district. And sometimes we have got our ways as Parliament. We can, I think we should interest ourselves. I would want to, from this question, I would want to get to the youth members of Parliament. They interest themselves. They can either come up with a motion, the youth can come up with a petition, so that we start up a way of investigating and interrogating what is there. But at the same time, we can raise this red flag to the Nakalema now. IDG has issues now. There is Edith Nakalema from the president's office that they can go to check. Because sometimes even checking it is not about finding faults, but to tell somebody, wake up. Where you are sitting, there is fire down and it is coming, do the right thing. This is how I believe. Last week, when I moved the motion on Maruzi Ranch, high-powered meeting was called with everybody. We realized now the land was converted from lease all to free, all to private government company. That is not even clear. Premium of about over 800 million shillings was paid somewhere, which is the money that was supposed to go to land fund. Land fund, the ground rent is supposed to be paid to a district like that. Fight is not there. But now when we had the president reverted, cancel this free all title is fictitious. It's the responsibility of Uganda Land Commission to hold and manage public land. Also, all those issues should be coming, and as they come, we should be able to take it up. I'll get to one of the members of parliament of the youth, and we work with them to see how do we bring the issues in the Ministry of Delayed Funds or messing around up. Because unless you talk about it, people will take advantage. Unless they are told, my friend, you are taking advantage where you are sitting, please don't. They will always have that intention.
What are the youth MPs doing in this regard? What are they reporting?
But first of all, now they are members of parliament representing the youth. I think they should be doing something. They are not sitting. They're working as members of parliament, and you know the role of a member of parliament, irrespective of being a youth or what person with disability, workers. Once you're in parliament, you're a member of parliament. But of course, we a specific favor. You would lean more on a certain side, like on the youth, like somebody would lean more on the constituency, like I'm talking about. So I think I don't know if they have raised this thing first of all with their direct representative, because I represent the youth. They are in my constituency, but there are also people who have been given tasks to say, for you, you are there because of young people, and as a young person, and you would carry equally together with your colleagues to see how we deal with these issues. So but I will definitely liaise with them, because we work as a team. When they say parliament, they don't say it is youth or what. It's you members of parliament, yes. the parliament of Uganda. So we all take equal responsibility. So I'm not saying it's the youth, but I would want them to be there to help us to move forward.
Thank you, Honorable, for your contribution. Thank you, viewers, for watching us today. We are here live from Katikati in Kampala. We are here with the Honorable Tony Ayo. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for Pania. I want to ask you one private question. How did you feel on the day you were declared for the first time a Member of Parliament?
No, but first of all, I was in a council. I told you I represented the youth. I was in the district council of the Greater Patch, where we had now Oyam district, where we have now a Patch district that has remained in Maruzi, where we have Kole district, and where we now have Pania district. Those 4 districts, I represented them in council. And at that young age of about 23, I was the deputy speaker of the council. So I remained there like for about 15 years.
Deputizing Felix?
Not came after me. Those are now young people came when we had already left. Deputizing Charles Ogang, who was then the president of Uganda National Farmers Federation. You should be knowing. So after that, I just told myself now, I think now the next elections, even when I was campaigning still to go to district council now, because after youth now I went to the sub-country representing everything. So now after this election, next time I have seen things that are here. I think I'm going to represent my constituency in parliament. With the issues that were there, of course, we need electricity there. There are issues of this road, which has been there. We also now saying, if everybody has got a district, what about us? We also need this, plus other support that we need to coordinate programs. So when I was going, when I was declared, of course, well, finally, because I also didn't have money, I didn't get support from anywhere but the small businesses that I was doing. That's why I'm saying this youth level support program, the youth must take it very seriously. If your life depends on it, it's not somebody's life. So if you got opportunity, there are people who only want. I see people normally put, you can run a business of 100,000. They normally put it on papers. They even circulate it on WhatsApp. They say there are businesses of 100,000 that you can run. There are businesses of 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, up to billions. Those things are not coming on WhatsApp for nothing. Take advantage and sit and meditate upon it and say, what can we do? Because that could be your destiny. So then after that, when I came to parliament, first of all, I was a leader at that level as a deputy speaker for 10 years. You know that? So I didn't know anything about, of course, the lives of a member of parliament, but since I was already, I was calm. Straight away, we came, we were sworn in, we started work. But what helped me is to look for people who are vibrant, to stay with the people who are what? Who are vibrant, the Honorable Amson Obuas, the Honorable Cecilia Ogwals, the Porto Gomes. Those are people I associated with, and then they guided me to, and I've continued to work with them. So later on, things, we got to know how it is done. We go to this ministry because we want water, we go to that, dams, you know, we have water production, we have put a few dams there. You choose which committee to go to, where you can be, when you meet them at committee level, then you go and say, no, but what about mine? Because those things are general, but there are also times when things get specific. My friend, let nobody deceive you. that is the reality I can talk about. So, with that background, of course, you feel something. Now, how are we going to do it? But I am happy that most of those things we have been able to accomplish them and put them behind. Now we are beginning to look at new things. And what are the new things that we should be looking at now as Parliament for our people? A lot of money has been put on roads. They are going matches. Other places have not yet got it, but it's there. Now the real issue is people are poor. How should we guide and help people to get income generating activities that puts money in their hands? For example, now people are not lazy. People are very hardworking and active and productive, but they produce things that do not give money. If you compare to, because I was questioning, when you look at the belt, the cattle corridor for us from the whole of Mbarara, those side coming up to, it stops at Masindi, now Chirandong. Beyond that, that would still be the same belt that we would be raising cows for milk and beef, but that is not there. And yet it is the beef, it is the milk that has helped people the other side. And this is what we are now talking about. I have started with the forming now of dairy cooperative and trying to see that we start small and allow people, because up 2 or 3, but a daily income of 50,000 is better than somebody who is sitting in some office and waiting for 500,000 per month or 600. So this is now real issues that Parliament must look into. These other things, politics, people talk too much sometimes on things that are not even real. Reality is put aside, then there's the talking. So.
Thank you, viewers, for watching us. Once again, I'm very grateful for you watching us and sending questions to Honorable. Honorable, there are very many questions that you did not answer, so, but for the next 1 week, you'll be responding to those questions, and viewers will continue sending you questions regarding Youth Livelihood Project, program for 1 week. Stay online, answer them. They are eager to know. There are very many useful questions here that we should have.
And I appreciate them for this interaction, and this is our work. Ours is you must talk, then you go on action on some of them. So I appreciate you, all the viewers who have been with us online. But you know, all good and bad things must come to an end. So yeah, I really appreciate. I'll always be there. Which number are you talking about?
In politics, there are 2 issues: talking and having numbers of people.
Yeah, that's one now. That's a subject for another day. So I thank you all and wish you all the best for this time to interact with you.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Remember to listen to our parliamentary radio program from the nearest radio stations from you. For people who are in Apache, you can listen to Apache Radio, and you can listen to Divine FM. You will listen to Honorable Tony Ayo. Is always there on our parliamentary radio program. And also remember to like the page of Face the Citizens TV, then our Parliament Facebook page. Please stay tuned next time, same program. Bye-bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.